background of this attitude.
Okay, stay on with me, Dr. Nagao.
Thank you.
Viewers, let's also tell you now that the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has revealed that Nicolas Maduro was given several opportunities to leave the country and avoid capture by US forces. Rubio stated that Maduro had been offered very, very, very generous offers. I'm quoting him. But he chose to stay and, again quote, act like a wild man. Rubio did not provide details about these offers but emphasized that Maduro could have left and lived a peaceful life elsewhere. Last month, US President Donald Trump has also suggested it would be smart for Maduro to step down but left the decision in his hands. All right. Dr. Nagao, requested to join us back in the discussion with your comments. Rubio is saying that he was given multiple opportunities, he was given multiple offers to flee from his own house. Are you,
Yes.
would you say that the US is now re-establishing its hegemony in the world order? Would you say it's a duopoly with US and China, or is US really coming forward as the only superpower with hegemonic interests and authority in the world?
U.S. perception is contained when we hear the word "Make America Great Again." Make America Great Again is based on the perception U.S. power is declining and the U.S. cannot continue to be the only superpower in the world. That's why they need to rebuild their power and start to say, make America great again. So because the US is losing their confidence, that's why US try to be very strong and punish the Venezuela for challenging against the US and try to re-establish the influential area in the American continent. And after that, in the outside of the American continent, one by one, the Americans show the strong influence step by step. It's a process. When we remember the history of the U.S. influence, indeed, this was the same course. So before the World War I, the Americans say Monroe Doctrine. This means that dominated status America
But
has
that
seen,
also Donald
and
Trump has
in
gone
the
on to
American
mock.
content. After that, the World War I, they expand their influence to the more wider area outside the American continent. And World War II, this has continued, and all of the rivals will be eliminated one by one. So from Monroe Doctrine to the world, one by one, they're stepping up. Now America try to rework the same course. They walk the same course from the Monroe Doctrine to the influential superpower in the world. So that's why the Latin America or American continent, these are the first area American focusing on to re-establish their influence as they make America great again. After that, they expand their influence to the other part of the world. But that is a process. I think America is amazing, I think.
But some are also saying, Dr. Nagao, that Trump's bet on the regime change in Venezuela is actually a departure from his MAGA agenda.
Of course, Venezuela shows a challenging attitude. Success is better than the failure, even if the region is the American continent. But that is current situation, I think.
All right. Thank you very much, then, Dr. Nagao, for speaking to me in this discussion. And with that, viewers, let's proceed and tell you some international reactions that are now coming in. Leaders worldwide have reacted to Maduro's arrest. India has reaffirmed its commitment to the well-being and safety of the Venezuelan people, urging peaceful dialogue to resolve the crisis and ensure regional stability. India's embassy in Caracas remains in contact with the local Indian community and will continue offering assistance. Meanwhile, China has called on the US to immediately release Nicolas Maduro, condemning the US strike in Caracas as a violation of international law. Japan, in line with its G7 position, has voiced support for Venezuela's democratic restoration. Malaysia has strongly opposed foreign intervention, calling for a halt to the use of force. All right, joining me now is Collins Chong-Yu Keat. He's a foreign affairs, security and strategy analyst and joins us from Kuala Lumpur. Thank you very much, Collins, for joining me. How are you assessing the divided reactions that are coming in from different leaders of the world?
Well, it is expected for China to produce such, responses. We have seen how Venezuela has been acting as the main anchor for Beijing's greater geopolitical power play, especially in Latin America, and in challenging the U.S. influence in its own backyard in the Western Hemisphere. We have seen how reports have now emerged that Venezuela has been providing more than 700,000 barrels per day of oil to U.S. through illicit transfer and all that. So this is basically a strong signal and warning and message by Trump to the adversaries, including Beijing and Moscow, that the era of this Latin America, especially Venezuela, being used as this strategic anchor for their own power purposes is now over. Washington is now regaining the unmatched dominance in the Western Hemisphere, and that there is no other external powers that can be allowed to use this to stage threats to the interests of the U.S. and the safety of the American people. And we have seen how this response also by Beijing trying to frame this as part of yet another hypocritical approach by Washington, and of course also to garner greater support from the global South, and to frame this episode as power politics and infringement of sovereign rights of sovereign states, but of course also from different lenses. But Trump and Washington have viewed this as a necessity, to hold Maduro to account based on the legal system of the U.S., and that his actions have threatened the lives of the American people, and that he has been given ample of time, even months before this, repeated warnings, as claimed by, of course, by Rubio also, that he has the capacity to also be aligned with what Washington has offered, but of course he has chosen this path, and that we have seen how this is again there's a reflection of Trump's no-nonsense approach, as Rubio has
Collins,
stated.
would you say that the fact that nations across the world are divided on the operation in Venezuela is what is in fact bolstering Trump in his aggression in Venezuela?
Well, of course, we have seen how a very much divided response even within the U.S. internal politics. The Democrats and the left have framed this as as a dangerous move. Of course, again, by a majority of nations throughout the world that have framed this as a violation of the international law. But again, this is not entirely on a regime change, but it's of course also to hold the regime to justice and to put a stop to these actions that have threatened the lives and the safety and security of the U.S. Also, as again to halt the increasing penetration of power presence, of course being used by both Moscow and Beijing to further their interests. And by this one approach alone, the U.S. has upended Beijing's decades-old policy of using Venezuela again as part of the multiple friend-sharing efforts support system to fuel its energy, and this has profound implications on any upcoming potential moves on Taiwan. Now that this line of access or undeterred access to energy, and this has again provided greater upheavals on Beijing's long-term plans, and this is also basically a stark warning and message by Trump that with this kind of military maneuver on Venezuela, and he has all the capacity, both economically, both on strategic resources, and also both on hard power capacity to deter any potential moves by Beijing, not only on Taiwan but also different parts of the world.
Right, sure. Thanks, Collins, for your assessment. To continue to stay on with me, please.